like 10 people. It was not nearly as bad as it is now. So I want to ask a question to all of you. How many of you have had a breakthrough experience in your life? Any hand who's not raised doesn't know God. I need to see hands come up.
Oh man. Oh man.
Bear with me. I had multiple breakthrough experiences. As he mentioned, yes, I did break an arm, both in fact. One was falling off a cliff, but I don't have time to talk about that. So, I'm going to talk about one of America's favorite pastimes. That's right, trampoline parks. What a better activity to engage in with your family, your friends, than to just all get in a car and go be hot and sweaty on plastic for an hour. So that was what my sister and her friend's little brother decided to do, and I was hauled along for the ride. Now, I feel that there are two important things to preface this story with. The first is, for some unknown reason, the designers of this particular place decided that putting trampolines on a dodgeball court was a good idea. And the second thing that needs to be prefaced is that I have a history of extremely low pain tolerance. I was the type of kid who would trip and act like the world had just ended. It was just the way that I was, and my family was aware of this going into this. But I was ready. I was ready to take on the world's challenges. If the world's challenges meant being able to pelt an 8-year-old in the face with a foam ball. If that's what it took, I was ready. So, you sign your waivers when you go into the whole thing. You wear those weird socks that have like the plastic on the bottom and you never wear them after that. And I just go in. Okay, after about an hour of just hopping around the place, I go onto this court. Now there's a third thing that I forgot to preface for comedic timing. And that thing was the fact that this dodgeball court had a single unpadded square of concrete. All of you already know where this is going, but it's about to get a lot funnier. Now me, being the meek, probably 130-pound, gangly skeleton child that I was giving it my all. I was on this side of the court and I was ready to go. I had the ball cocked back in my hand as best as I knew how, and I was ready to legally smash an 8-year-old's nose. And what happened was, in about 4.5 seconds, I experienced and learned more about our world's physics than I did in 2.5 years of pursuing an astrophysics degree. I'm a math major now for a reason. So, a fourth thing I forgot to preface. Most of these trampolines have weight limits, and usually one man is not capable of meeting that weight limit. Not today. Because a man who I can only describe as either being capable of meeting or exceeding the legal limit on these trampolines decided, I'm gonna double bounce that kid. You all know about physics. But if you apply a vertical force and a rotational force on your body, things do not end well once you're in the air. And let me tell you, I turned into a human pinball. I didn't hit anything yet. Until, as luck, fate, or Steve Buscemi had it, I pile drove the single unpadded square of concrete. And all I hear is... And I'm not, there's no visible breakage. I feel that's important to mention. Like, my arm looked the exact same, it just hurt a whole lot more and I wanted it off. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm gonna hold my arm. And my sister naturally is seeing me bawling my eyes out. She goes, oh, he's just an actor. Oh, what a fool this kid is. He's gonna ruin our day. Now, I love my sister. Let me clarify. Great relationship with her. But she was able to call me out on so much crap as a child. And this, as far as she was aware, was no exception. That was until I did not relent, and I got to drive home for an hour hearing my sister orally berate me on how terrible of a child I was. Now granted, if it wasn't broken, she was right. This was before I was saved. I was a gremlin, okay? I was a bad child. So I get home, and by the time I had gotten home, everyone had convinced me, oh, it's probably just a muscle sprain. The next day, I'm trying to clean my hair in the shower. And I'm going to visually demonstrate this. It just didn't work. It didn't work. Day 2, I'm trying to use a mouse on a computer. If you've ever had a broken arm, you know it wants to reset. You know it always wants to rest down. Well, I didn't know that it would just aggressively fling my mouse across the room every time I was trying to write. So, flash forward a little bit. 5 days pass. Now, granted, it didn't hurt as bad as when I fell off the cliff. But, again, another time. So, finally, because I can't lift my arm above my head and all that, we go to the doctor. And this is a man who had to have been new to medical practitioner. He was probably in his mid-30s. That's not to discourage him. It's just to qualify what he told me. Because what he told me are words I will never forget and will never hear from another doctor again. So, he brings back the scans. And what follows is something I can only describe as magical. Because this 30-year-old bright-eyed man looks me in the eyes and says, yep, it's broken. But look on the bright side. If you were a 70-year-old grandmother, you would have been destroyed. And the only thing that went through my mind was the ending of Tangled if it was a sports movie. You put Mother Gothel on that trampoline, she's about to do a quadruple aerial and then dust. So if there's one thing I want you all to take away from this actual story that happened to me, it's this. When you're 70, and you and your family are trying to figure out a good way to pass the time, just remember, trampoline parks are not for you.
Bravo!
I happen to love trampoline parks.
Really? I don't. It's too much jigglage.
Too much jigglage.
I just sweat a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, tell me. Ask me what she be saying, dude. That's it. Can I ask you a question?
Jigglage?
I'm an English minor. It's fine.
That was a word.